Okay, my name is Maureen Casey, and I grew up in Princeton, West Virginia.
And how long have you been in Guatemala?
I came to Guatemala in 1991. My church in Los Angeles. No, wait. So, in 1991, I came to teach in a high school here in Chimaltenango, Guatemala. It's on the Central Plains of. So I taught high school for 3 years, and then I started a ministry for another ministry for the disabled. And I had changed to work under a different mission organization, and that are located in Litchfield, Illinois. So when there was a conflict over that other ministry, I went back to work in the headquarters in Illinois. And it was during my time there that the Lord gave me the vision here for the orphanage. And actually I was taking a team with them to Mozambique in about 2 weeks, and I went to visit a friend in Oklahoma City. And she was a youth pastor there, and I think the church was called Bridgeport or Bridge something. Anyway, we went to a youth meeting, and when the musicians began to sing, Jesus appeared back behind the musicians, and he walked through them and down off the platform and through all the kids right straight up to me, and his face was so filled with joy, and the joy in his eyes, it looked like fireworks going off, these colors exploding inside of his eyes. So that conflict had been so devastating, you know, that what I said to him as he was walking toward me was, Lord, I can't imagine anybody being so happy to see me. Especially you, Lord. Why are you so happy? And he gets right up to me, like really in my space, you know, and he's taller than me, so I'm looking up at him, and he says, well, we're going to have a ministry like we were going to have a baby. You know, that kind of joy. And I was like, really, what? He said, we're going to have a home for 100 disabled children. I'm like, okay, let's do that, you know. Then immediately I'm thinking Mozambique, because I'm going there in 2 weeks, you know. I had the plane tickets and everything. And I'm thinking, well, I'll just extend my time there, or, you know, I'll get some, you know, make arrangements and go back there, you know. But as I'm thinking these other things, it was like suddenly we were in the middle of a field. And the Lord says, I'm going to give you this field, this piece of property. And so I'm looking around, and I go, well, I recognize this place. This is back in Chimaltenango, Guatemala. I used to walk my dog here. He said, yeah. He said, that's where I want you to do the orphanage. I was like, okay. So then he gave me a list of people in the U.S. to invite to form a board, and he gave me a list of people here in Guatemala as well. And then it was just really detailed. But the whole time these lights the colors are exploding in his eyes, and I'm just mesmerized with his eyes, you know. And we talked for a long time, and then I couldn't, like he'd finished telling me what I needed to know, and then I couldn't see him. And I'm thinking, you know, all this detailed stuff he told me, you know. So I sit down on the floor, and I grab my Bible, and I'm going through it, and I'm thinking, oh God, what a day to clean out my Bible. I don't have any paper in here to write on, you know. And okay, no, vaya ya, subir, vaya ya, y pedir ayuda. So anyway, I found these little Post-it notes. That's all I had. So I wrote down the list of names. And I still have some of those Post-it notes, some of the other details. And then it was really the beginning of several days of real visitation for him. But I was like embarrassed to tell my friend, because I'm thinking, this is kind of a crazy experience. You know, Jesus appeared to me and talked to me, and she might think I'm see.
Yeah, don't forget that, Mom.
And yeah.
You just told her about it.
Yeah. So anyway, so finally I tell my friend what has happened, and my friend KZ, and she says, I must have said, do you think that's kind of crazy? And she said, well, she said, actually, among our youth, it's like a lot of people are having experiences like that. So actually, it's not crazy here. It's more kind of like normal, you know. It's like, oh, okay. So anyway, I went back to Illinois, and I started. Some of the people were there, so I started telling people about this vision, and everybody said the same thing. I'm really busy doing something else. I don't really feel the Lord telling me this, you know. And so I went to Mozambique and I did my commitment there, and then I came back to the States and I had some commitments there I needed to finish up, and in that time I went to some of the other people that were on that list in the States, and they kept saying the same thing. You know, I'm really busy doing something else, and I don't really hear God tell me this, and when I got to number 8, number 9, I had gone to Dallas to talk to them because I knew them from attending Christ for the Nations. And they had a teenage disabled daughter. And their answer was, no, we're busy, we're too busy. And no, we don't want to do that kind of ministry. And then, no, we don't want to work with you. And I was like, I don't even want to know. It's like my cup of rejection was just overflowing. I was like, okay, I don't even want to know the answer, you know. I don't want, you know. So, but then another really interesting thing happened back at the ministry in Illinois was that one of the leaders there was on the list, and I had talked to her about it, and she had said the same thing. I'm really busy. And everybody who said I'm really busy, they were busy doing really good things. I mean, they were busy working for the Lord. But anyway, I started having these problems with my eyes where my vision would go blurry. And I thought I needed new glasses. And so this one day I was standing at the kitchen window as a group of people came up the steps to come in. And I had been going through this, well, maybe I need new glasses and stuff. Anyway, as I looked up at this person that I talked to about it, my vision got blurry again. And I'm thinking, there it is again, you know. But when I looked down, my vision cleared up. And when I looked up again and looked at that person, my vision went blurry again. When I looked away, just into the kitchen, it was clear again. And I was like, what is going on here? And the Lord spoke to me and He said, if you focus on other people, you're going to lose your vision. But if you look to me, then we'll do this. And I knew that He was talking about the vision for the orphanage, but it just cut right through all that, you know, maybe I'm wrong, and, you know, it was like, okay, I can't focus on the way people are responding to me. I need to stay focused on the Lord because He gave me this vision. So anyway, when I finished my commitments, within a week of finishing up all the commitments I needed to be able to be responsible, I got a phone call from a lady here in Guatemala, the only American on the list here, a missionary, and she said she had a home for a home for normal girls, but she called me and said, I just got a little girl with Down syndrome, would you come down and help me with her? And I could hear the voice, you know, the Lord, as I'm talking to her on the phone, going, this is your open door to go back to Guatemala. So I come back, and I worked for her for several months, had a specific commitment. But every time I talked to her about the vision, she didn't say no, but I felt that, I don't think so, I am really busy doing all this stuff. But she never said no. She just talked about all the reasons why it would be difficult or impossible or whatever. And so when I finished my commitment with her, I decided I'm not going to talk to her about it again because I know she's going to say no. You know? And so I told the Lord, I said, Lord, if the people here in Guatemala have the same reaction as the people in the U.S., then I feel like I'm free from this responsibility because I can't do this by myself. I don't know if that was true, but that's what I said. So then I came here to Chimaltenango, and I started tracking down all the people that were on the list in Guatemala. And they all were like, yes, absolutely. Oh, it's an honor. Yes, this is going to be great, And finally, it was kind of near the end of talking to them that I was talking to her about probably telling her that these other people were going to be on the board. And she's like, yes, me too. I'm going to serve on your board. So then the people on the board, there were 12 on the list, and 12 were at the first meeting. And then, like the third meeting, there were 8, and then there were 6, but there were probably 4 that really worked, and some others that provided tremendous support, like a doctor and his wife that are still serving my kids. His son has taken over their practice, but he saw all of my kids for probably 15 years without charging, so anyway, that as the years went by, the thing that really stuck in my mind, I got to tell you this. Some years into the home, about 4 or 5 years into running the orphanage, I went to Kansas City for a youth conference at their stadium. So there are 15,000 young people fasting in the new year. And I'm way up in the bleachers, and I look down in the crowd milling around, and I recognize my friend's hair, my friend from Dallas. And I go, Leslie's here. So I go running down, through the crowd, and I'm thinking, what if it's not her, Anyway, it was, and she goes, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it's you. I can't believe it's. And she said, you got to come home with me. I'm like, no, Leslie, I'm not flying. I didn't fly through Dallas. I'm flying. No, you don't understand. We just moved here. So before you go back, I want you to come, when the conference is over, come to my house. So I went to her house, and she said, she and her husband were the ones who said no, no, and no. Right? So I went to her house, and she said, when you shared that vision with me, not long after that, the Lord spoke to us as a family and said, you're too busy. I want you to stop doing this, and I want you to spend the time in prayer. She said, so we did that. And then we had prayed for a while, and then God said, I want you to stop doing this other thing and spend that time in prayer. And she said it kind of went like that until we weren't hardly doing anything except work and school and prayer. And out of that intense prayer, God told us to quit our jobs, sell our house, and move from Dallas to Kansas City. And when we got here, he said, I don't want you to just go volunteer for stuff like you would normally do. But you wait on me, because I have specific things for you to do in Kansas City. And she said, here we are. We just moved here this week. And the first person I see is you. And I have never been able to forget the vision you shared with me. So she said, I want my husband and one of my daughters to come down there, and if he's on board, then we're going to help you. So they did. He came down. Anyway, they ended up setting up our first office to handle finances in the U.S. and helped us, financially too, in a huge way for years. But later when I would share this story, that parable that Jesus told about the father went to his sons and he asked them to go work in the field. And the first one said no. And the second one said yes, but then he didn't go. And then the first one who said no turned around and did the work. And I, especially when the Gruings, my friends from Dallas, they had said no, no, and no, but then when they came in, they really worked, And so many of the people here didn't do anything at all, but that lady, that missionary lady, not only did she serve on the board, but she had a master's in special ed. And she and her coworker came out here. She lives in a town about a half an hour from here. She came out 2 days a week for 2 years to help us set up our school and train our teachers. And so, the one I thought was going to say no said yes in a really big way. But anyway, in 2003, I started with one Down syndrome girl in my home and 8 students in our school. And now, 18 years later, We have 24 children in our home, and we have more than 30 in our school because we have kids from the surrounding neighborhood. And we've never really had a working board in the U.S., but we partner with an organization called Generation to Generation in Arizona, and another organization called Beautiful Feet Global Outreach in Tennessee. And they, they handle the finances to get them to us. And but it's been a miracle journey from the beginning. It's been harder than I expected, but also more amazing. Haiti? Sorry, we have any. Come here.
Facility. Do you know the size of it?
The square footage?
Yeah, like how big is how
our property? I know what it is in meters. It's 23 meters by 47 meters. Whatever that is.
Gotcha.
So, but it's pretty big. I mean, we actually were hoping to buy property this year, and we had a donation to do that because we need a separate place, because we have a lot of people that cry and scream, and you need a bigger place to spread out. But we ended up asking the donor to allow us to use the funds for operating expenses because we needed that more, and they graciously did that. So we've been paying salaries instead of buying property. Isn't that right, Haiti?
Speaking of salaries, how many staff members do you have?
I think it's 31.
31.
And that's the school and the home, and the nannies working shifts, and then we have laundry and office and cleaning, and then we have professionals that work with us, the therapists and psychologists and nurse, and we pay them, but the doctors, the neurologists and the specialist doctors that work with them, most all of them do that free for us. And in fact, our neurologist has been working with us since the first year that we started, or the second year. So he knows all our kids from little guys.
So what kind of challenges do you face with the children on a daily basis?
Screaming and crying. This guy is throwing temper tantrums, but he's doing better. And Leela has trouble sleeping at night. So, but like our program, we focus on kids with physical disabilities because we teach them how to walk, and then we teach them how to, go to the bathroom by themselves and eat and do the daily things like eat by themselves and dress themselves. Because our goal is for them to be the most independent possible, and then to learn how to do daily chores. But our children they would all be considered they'd probably all be considered severe and many multiple disabilities. And so it's really labor intensive. Like it takes a lot longer to teach somebody to wash the dishes than it is to just wash the dishes. And but in the long run, it's really important. And we are their family because most of our children don't have any contact with their family at all. In fact, of the 24 children in our home now, only 8 have contact with their family, which means the others, either we don't know where their family are at all, or the family don't contact them, don't respond to things. And a few, it's because their family's not allowed to. But that's really a minority. Mainly it's because we don't know who they are. Which means that they don't have anyone. Like if they can't be independent, which is completely independent, then they'll be with us lifelong, Because like Carlos, we don't have any contact with his family, or Leela. But they couldn't live independently, ever. And so we're it. We're the family. And our donors and the groups like you that come down are our extended family, because, we need you as well. And our kids love you guys. They love visitors. And when we don't have visitors for a while, they're like, Mom, we need groups. And I remember telling one of the girls, well, she's like, you got to bring groups. And I'm like, well, that's not how it works. You can't just say that. And she said, yeah, but I miss them. And so I said, well, we can pray. So we prayed for Papa God to send us a group, and one showed up the next day. I was like, and she looked at me like, see? I was like, okay, you're wrong. You were right, and I was wrong. We can pull a group. No, take that off. But anyway, so, and our biggest challenge is that monthly stable support. So we want to get a really good sponsorship program going, but we'd also like, people that could commit to our home with, like our electric bill is over $300 a month. And we used to have someone who paid that every month. And I think our telephone charges and internet probably run $200 or $300 a month. And so, and then because our bills come in every month. And medicine, our medicine for the kids averages $2,000 a month. And we don't have that, but we never, somehow or other, every week we buy that medicine. And, but it's really expensive, and the salaries run about $16,000 a month. Is it $16,000 a month? And no. And but we're no hate. Si vas a hacer eso, tienes que tienes que ir para allá. Si vas a estar jalando pelo, tienes que ir. Okay, so the questions are.
Can you just kind of maybe
about
what your vision is for the construction and your future?
Okay, on the property that we that was so graciously purchased for us by Phil Smith of Kansas City and the Catholic Parish St. Thomas More. We just finished building the second floor over the section of the school, and we have the architectural plans to build second we want to end up with a building that's like a big E, 3 stories high, and it'll have dining room and everything, and the capacity when we finish will be room for 54 children in the orphanage, 70 students in the school, and a place for groups of 25 to stay with us. And it'll have a therapy area and an elevator and everything we need, for the kids, but it's divided up into phases. So we just finished the second floor over the school, which cost over $100,000 because the prices have increased. So I would imagine that the third story over that would cost another $100,000, and then Then the middle section, the middle part of the E, because the existing construction is not any good and it would have to be torn down, then there'd be an... No. Sal de aquí. Marta, ¿pudiera ayudarnos un segundo? He's gone. José ya sé, pero ¿qué lleva José para allá? No, José. José es el problema. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the plan for the construction here. And also the hope to buy property nearby to be able to expand, because we really need more space to be able to move, you know, to have more space to play and run around.
And then if people are wanting to find out more information about
Yes,
here,
we have a website. The name of our home is Losgozosos, LOS and GOZOSOS, and the name of our website is Losgozosos.com. And our name means, gozo in Spanish means joy, and Los means people, and Gozosos means the most joy. So we're the most joyful people. That's what our name means. And but so our website is www.losgozosos.com.
and if they want to make donations, there's
Yeah, you can go through there. Yeah, there are links there, and there's all the information you need to contact us. But you can also contact us at losgozosos@hotmail.com, and we'll get back to you.
that's really all I have.